The Indian Air Force has always wanted to make the Tejas Mk2 the star of the force, but it is not easy. The Indian Air Force still has hundreds of MiG-21 fighters in service since the Soviet era. These MiG-21s are too old, near the end of their life, and do not meet the requirements of modern air combat. In the 1980s, India was heavily dependent on Soviet fighters. At this time, the Soviet Union turned to production of medium and higher twin-engine fighters, and no more single-engine light fighters. Perhaps that is why New Delhi was determined to develop a light fighter to fill the gap after the retirement of the MiG-21 and some single-engine aircraft of the Soviet origin. And this is also the way to develop a domestic aviation industry. India's Tejas project was born to develop a light fighter, to become a worthy rival to the famous American F-16, and also the most modern fighter at the time of rival Pakistan. The first version of Tejas was Mk1. It can be described as a failure of the Indian aviation industry. It has 33 years of development, but still not enough to guarantee that the Tejas Mk1 will be the replacement for the old Soviet MiG-21. India invested considerable financial resources, but the result was a fighter with poor performance and lack of thrust. However, the Indian Navy still needs light aircraft with short takeoff from carriers. New Delhi has not given up on its unfinished light fighter ambitions. Therefore, the Tejas Mk2 modern fighter version has been born since 2009, and it has a great chance of being mass-produced. So far, the Indian government has invested nearly $500 million in the project. The Tejas Mk2 version will use the General Electric F414 afterburning turbofan engine, providing up to 98 kN thrust with afterburner, twice as much as the engine of the Mk1 version. Thus, the hope of India will have to fly with the American herd. Tests on General Electric engines have been ongoing since 2017. If the deal is completed, General Electric will supply nearly 100 F414 engines to India, worth about $500 million. The American engine will make the Mk2 more efficient and increase the payload capacity of the Mk2 by 25% compared to the Mk1. General Electric is likely to play an important role in the development of Indian aviation industry. According to India's requirement, at least 60% of F414 engines must be built in India, and General Electric is ready to meet this requirement. This is an opportunity for Indian military engineers to access important technologies to develop the domestic cavalry engine. Cavalry is expected to be the engine of the next generation of Indian fighters in the future. Tejas Mk2 will also use some Israeli avionics technologies. According to preliminary information, Israel will provide for the Tejas Mk2. Israel is also ready to provide its new developments in the field of electric jamming and electric warfare systems. New avionics are expected to include active electronically scanned array radar, an on-glass cockpit, wide multifunction displays, and an integrated oxygen delivery system. But these improvements will lengthen the fuselage by 1 meter compared to the Mark 1. So far, India's HAL is facing serious difficulty in terms of production schedule. According to the plan, the company will produce 16 fighters per year, but capacity allows only 8. Perhaps this is the reason why HAL is planning to build one more production line. India is expected to order about 120 to 130 Tejas Mk2 fighters for both Navy and Air Force. According to unofficial information, if the Indian Army satisfied with the Mk2, another order of 300 fighters will be fulfilled. Clearly, Tejas Mk2 is India's hope. The Indian government has invested so much money and time in this project, and if it fails, it will be too much of sadness. Furthermore, the companies involved in the project may go bankrupt. Tejas Mk2 clearly has a perfect and foreseeable future. But for Mk2 to become the main fighter of the Indian Air Force is another story. India is in talks with Sweden and the US for the production of SAF JAS-39 and F-16 light fighters. New Delhi is looking to increase the number from 33 to 45 squadrons, but which aircraft India chooses remains to be seen. My video about the Tejas Mk2 fighter ends here. Thank you for watching. If you find this video interesting, please give me your thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to support the channel. Goodbye and see you again in the next videos. Tạm biệt và hẹn gặp lại quý vị và các bạn trong các video tiếp theo.